Living with Lolita, grab a notebook and a pen. It's not about where you start, but how you win. There is no topic that can't be discussed. This platform is open, no need to hush.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Lolita and welcome to another episode of Living with Lolita. Have you ever been in a situation where you applied for a job and they call you for an interview? You've done your research, you're feeling confident. You go in there and they start asking you a series of questions and you forget everything. Like you bomb it to the highest degree. You forget your words. You can't think straight. You're sweating, and you walk away feeling really defeated. But a couple days later, they call you and they offer you the position. And your first thought is probably like, wow, how did that even happen? But then in the same breath, you're like, thank God, I thank you for this. That happened to me. I applied for a position within my company and it was a supervisor position. Now, granted, I was with my company for some years, but I was comfortable where I was. Yes, I wanted to grow, but I was also just comfortable where I was. Like I knew everything about the position that I was in. So I kind of didn't want to leave, but my supervisor at the time, and my manager, they pushed me to do that. And so I did it. um I kind of regretted it after the first interview because I did so horrible. When I tell you horrible, I left out of there feeling not only defeated, but I was thinking, man, they probably think I'm really stupid because I knew nothing. I felt like I could have answered those questions so much better, but I don't know, something just came over me and I could not think straight. So I had to do maybe about 4 or 5 interviews. And about 4 of those interviews, those were the ones that I felt like I did really bad in. I really only felt like I did good like the first one, and that was like an introduction. So but I got the job. Now, when I got that position, I was placed on a team that was already built. They didn't have a supervisor for about 4 or 5 months. So I was the new person. And I felt so out of place. I could not for the life of me find my niche. I was kind of miserable doing that job. I was grateful for the opportunity, but I was kind of miserable. And I was also thinking, there could be someone else that can do this job way better than I can. 10 months later, I had another offer to move over to another position, or excuse me, to another team. And I jumped at that because I was going to be doing something different. So I'm like, okay, there has to be some way that I can show everyone who Lolita is, because I know who I am. And I doubted that for the whole 10 months I was on that team before. So I am offered this position. I go over there. I only had to luckily do one interview, which went well. And this was going to be different because I was starting from the ground up. I was building my team. I was the team initially. For about 2 months, I was the team. So that gave me time to figure out, okay, how am I going to do my day to day, and how am I going to entertain my team? How am I going to engage with my team? What different things can I think of to, keep them upbeat and excited while they're working? And I'm going to tell y'all, I have done amazingly well. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that. I have done so good. And I don't know why I doubted my capabilities. Like, I know that what God has put in me is something that nobody can take away. Yes, I ran into a bad experience, but the experience now is phenomenal. Like, I'm more than a supervisor. I am a counselor. I am a social worker. I'm a friend. I'm a mom to 14 more ladies. It is a joy to clock in and out of work every day. Like, I feel like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, let me come over to my work area and, start working. I'm singing, I'm happy. Before I was not. I was miserable. Like I was miserable and I was asking God, like, why? Why did you send me here? Like, why? Um, but I say all that to say sometimes situations will make you doubt yourself. It'll make you doubt who you are. It'll make you doubt your livelihood. Um, I was also in a situation different than work. I was in a relationship where even that person was telling me that my last name would get me, excuse me, that his last name got me so far in life. But it didn't. It, our, like us together as a couple, got us so far together, um, i.e., the house or cars or loans. Like that was together. But that also made me doubt myself. It made me doubt the person that I was. It made me doubt if I was good enough for certain situations or certain people. I doubted a bunch of things about myself. But I'm qualified. I'm qualified to be a spouse. I am qualified to be a supervisor. I'm qualified to be a CEO. I'm qualified to do so many things. And if you all ever have doubts in your mind, like, of course, take it to God, but also know that you do have what it takes. Like, you can do things that you probably didn't think that you could do. But once you start doing it, you're like, you know what, this isn't so bad, or I can handle this. And then it makes you feel like you can do more. You can do extra. You can do greater. You can exceed your wildest expectations, really. And I think that that's important. I think that even in the position that I'm in right now, I, have a certain, I don't like to say power, but it's kind of like that a little bit. But I don't let that go to my head. I come and I place myself on the same level as everybody else because I've been there. When there are stories that, they tell me or situations that they're in, I can relate. So I know in this position, I am so useful. I feel like, although I'm tired at the end of the day, I'm supposed to get off at 4:30, but sometimes I get off at 5:30, 6:30. I feel good about it. I feel good about what I have accomplished throughout that day. I feel good knowing that I have helped someone in some shape or form or fashion. I feel useful. I feel productive. I feel good about myself. And I know that I can do anything. I know that God has put something in me that, once again, nobody can take away. And it's here to stay. I can't let one person or one situation make me doubt otherwise. I think that sometimes we don't give God enough credit. I feel like sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. I feel like if you have a bad experience, you should try again. I don't think you should just throw in the towel. I don't think you should just give up. If I gave up, I would not be where I am right now. I get praised for the person that I am, and I feel so good about that. Like, yeah, I get praised for being a good mom or, like a good friend or a good sister, a good daughter. Like, I get, praised for those things, but what I didn't know about myself is showing in my day-to-day when I clock in. What I didn't know about myself is showing through my team. Like, they come to work and yeah, they have issues too. We have our little pep talks, and I'm like, hey, get out there and let's do this. Like, let's make this happen. And they do that. Like, I feel good about pulling someone out of a dark place to help them get through the day because I needed that myself. I need that myself. I still need that. And I just feel good about where I'm at right now. So I'm just saying all of this to say that God has something with everybody's name on it. And it may not be this certain thing, this certain position, this certain relationship, but he has something with your name on it. You just have to be patient. You have to wait on him. You have to pray about it. And he's going to give you exactly what it is that you deserve in due time. He is going to blow your mind like never before. I don't want to leave my position. I don't, but I know one day I'm going to have to. Like, I can't stay here forever. I know that there's greater for me, although I'm nervous about that too. But I have to just move forward, and I have to just move forward, and I have to just be open to whatever it is. I just have to be open. I have to be open to the mistakes that I might make along the way. I have to be open to the shortfalls or the shortcomings that I'm going to have along the way. I have to be open to the roadblocks and the stumbling blocks that are going to happen along the way. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the here. I'm excited for the now. I'm excited for my position. I'm qualified for any and everything. I really am. And I hope that you think that same way about yourself too. I don't want anybody to feel like, because of anything that's gone wrong in their life, that they're unqualified or that they have been disqualified. Maybe from that situation, but not from the next situation. So just keep moving forward. And I feel like I say that a lot, like on this podcast. I feel like I reiterate the keep moving forward, but that is something that we all must do. That is something that we have to do to excel, to accelerate, to promote, for next. Like, we have to move forward in order to get to that point. And we can't doubt ourselves. We have to just go with it. If you go into this interview and you bomb it, and God still finds a way to give it to you, he's giving it to you for a reason. He wants you to show up and show out every single day. Show up and show out, not only for him, but for yourself. You really have nothing to prove anything to, except for yourself and God. Like, that's it. So I'm telling you in advance that I'm proud of you, and that I want you to keep moving forward. And I also want you to know that you are qualified for anything that you put your mind to. You do have to put in the work, because it's no cakewalk. But on the other side, you are going to reap the gifts. You are going to reap the joys. You are going to reap the benefits. I think that it's going to be a bumpy ride, but because nothing is smooth, nothing is just given to anyone without some work. So if you're not willing to put in the effort, expect to be let down. But if God gives you something, you need to do the best that you possibly can at what it is that he's giving you. Whether that's on the job, whether that's a relationship, whether that's with your children, whether that's with your family, you have to put your best foot forward. That is the message that I have for y'all today. All right. I love you guys so much. It was short, but it was sweet. It was to the point. And I hope that y'all can receive this message. I love you all so much. I will see you all in 2 weeks. Have a good night. Bye.
Her experience has created a safe place. One time with living with Lolita is all it will take. One time with living with Lolita is all it will take. Living with Lolita, living with Lolita, living with Lolita is all it will take.